Wrestling Mark, also known as Irrational Wrestling Viewer, the official YouTube channel. I'm going to be discussing why Seth Rollins should win the new World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this World Heavyweight Championship is actually a blessing for a lot of main event talent that is not going to beat Roman Reigns. It's a blessing for guys that are on Raw that should be a world champion. Guys like Shinsuke Nakamura, a Drew McIntyre. I'm not even going to say Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes has to finish his story with Roman. Who else will be on that list? Obviously, a Seth Rollins. That's the obvious choice. You can probably throw in Gunther. I forgot who was even drafted to Raw. All I know is Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura, Gunther, Seth Rollins. And those are the four guys that come to mind. And maybe Finn Balor. Maybe Finn Balor. So you throw him in there in that conversation as well. A list of guys that could be the world champion. And Matt Riddle. I forgot about Matt Riddle too. So a lot of the guys that are not going to beat Roman Reigns, they would be perfect for the new World Heavyweight Championship. I would have definitely thrown in Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles if they stayed on Raw, but they're on SmackDown and they're not beating Roman Reigns. I can just tell you that right now. They're not going to beat Roman Reigns. But out of all those guys that I listed, from Finn Balor, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Seth Rollins, you have to give Seth that world title. It's already his. That segment they did on Raw when they first revealed it and when Seth Rollins came out and cut his promo on Roman and talked about winning that world title, it just seemed like the right choice to do for Night of Champions. He's the obvious choice. And you think of all the fresh matchups that Seth Rollins can have on Raw as the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, when I look at that World Heavyweight Championship, that title is so freaking beautiful to look at. It's basically the modern day big gold, right? It's the modern day World Heavyweight Championship. Right, the original one from WCW. Well, this is the modern version of it. And it somewhat does look like the current IC belt. But let's be real. It was time that we get a world championship that's on television every week. And it actually limits the roster when you have Roman Reigns as the undisputed champion, holding both those belts, and he's not there every week. So it actually diminishes the wrestling shows because now you have guys that have nothing really to fight for. You don't have the main event caliber talent to fight for a world title because Roman is not there. So this right here is perfect for the guys that you have on Raw right now. When it comes to the main event talent, this world title is a blessing for those guys, especially for like a Drew McIntyre. When he comes back, I can already see it now. Seth Rollins he wins that world title. Drew McIntyre is his first challenger. I'm calling it. And one day down the line, he will become the world heavyweight champion and get his big moment in front of a whole audience of winning the world title. But Seth Rollins right now is so over. It's ridiculous how over he is. Like, you can argue that at this moment, he is over, way more over than Sami Zayn. I have to put that out there. Sami Zayn was enormously over when the Bloodline betrayed him at the Rumble. But you look at the landscape of WrestleMania with Seth Rollins in the fold. He's just so over and so popular, and I don't see his momentum declining anytime soon. He's probably just about on Cody's level in terms of popularity. I would say he surpassed Sami Zayn in popularity. That's my opinion, though. But he's the perfect candidate to be the world heavyweight champion. You look at this man's credentials, everything he's accomplished, one of the best in-ring performers in the WWE today, one of the best wrestlers in the world today. The fans are 110% on his side. So this right here is the perfect one to hold that belt first. And at this stage in Seth Rollins' career, he has to be given the responsibility of carrying a show on his own. And him being the number one guy again. But this time as a true babyface. And I feel like at this point, he's a true babyface. Unlike the Seth Rollins that we had in 2019 when he won the Universal Championship. He beat Brock, but the fans were kind of lukewarm on him. They weren't all the way rocking with him. They weren't all the way on his side. But it really took a huge character change for Seth Rollins to win them over again. And just the simple sing-along of his theme music was enough to do that. And his wacky, outlandish attires that he'd be wearing every week, it just adds to that persona now that he is embracing. So if they don't put the belt on Seth Rollins, they're making a huge mistake. A huge mistake. You don't put that belt on Cody Rhodes because that's going to diminish the entire story of him dethroning Roman Reigns. And for Cody, it's going to feel like a consolation prize. And you don't want the new world championship to feel like a consolation prize to Cody Rhodes. No, you want that to be the big, you want that to be the big achieving moment for any wrestler. Big crowning achievement, right? And that's what it's going to be for Seth Rollins. So there's not anybody else on the roster right now that can carry Monday Night Raw. And I think Seth Rollins is the guy to carry Monday Night Raw. I mean, along with Cody, Seth Rollins, is your guy. I don't know who he fights in the tournament, in the finals, but I can only assume it would be a Drew McIntyre or maybe a Finn Balor. You probably run that feud back. You probably run the SummerSlam 2016 rematch, back. And That was for the Universal Championship, the inaugural Universal Championship, which Finn Balor won. So they could run it back and kind of tell a story that Seth can't beat Finn Balor when it really matters the most, when it comes to winning a title. And I think those two in the finals would really tell a story from their 2016 SummerSlam match. So, I mean, that's just a suggestion, you know. But overall, man, Seth Rollins should win the World Heavyweight Championship. Period. I mean, there's really nobody that can be the first ever world champion other than him. There's going to be guys later down the line that are going to beat Seth Rollins, but right now, Seth is your guy. So that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know your comments down below. Like the video for the algorithm. Likes are free. Subscribe today for more content, more wrestling discussions. This is your Rational Wrestling Mark. You're also Rational Wrestling viewer. And that's all I have to say. Y'all have a good day and peace out.